Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the relatively uncommon poison normal-type Pokemon Shroodle, the Toxic Mouse Pokémon, and its uncommon evolution Grafaiai, the Toxic Monkey Pokémon. While they might not come off as the most conventional of normal-type Pokemon, the members of the Shroodle family can still be a toxic presence in any battle and prove to be a bit much for younger beasts to handle directly.
Shroodle have small oblong bodies covered in blue fur on their back and posterior and black fur on their face, with 4 small digiless limbs with a blue pattern on their undersides, as well as a small tuft of white hair on the top of their head. They have large pale green eyes as well as an elongated nose, with a massive pair of front incisors that jet out from the top of their mouth, stained purple at the ends from the toxins that they naturally generate in their saliva. Their evolved form, Grafaiai, have a much more monkey-like form to them, with bodies that have blue and white stripes on their fur, a large tail with a massive bushy end, 2-toed white feet, and black fur covering the upper arms, torso, and head. Their eyes have purple marks that surround them, and their head features a larger tuft of white hair on the top and large floppy ears, while their hands are noteworthy for having 3 pink fingers each, with a single digit on each hand further being elongated and constantly covered in a brightly colored poisonous liquid.
The members of the Shroodle family are unique among normal-type Pokemon in that they're able to readily generate toxins for external use, and often use them not just as a deterrent and hunting tool, but also to mark their territory as well.
These creatures naturally exude a potent toxin in their bodies in the form of a liquid paint-like saliva, and use their teeth when young and their fingers as adults to paint markings on the ground or other objects for a number of different purposes. The most obvious, especially at a young age, is to mark their territory to make sure that others that come beyond the markings know not to come in if they likely don't want to be poisoned. As adults though, the acrid stench that emanates from this liquid also has the benefit of attracting small bug-type Pokemon, which these creatures happily feast upon for sustenance alongside berries. This goes even further with these creatures as adult Grafaiai, as they are known to use a signature symbol of some sort that is unique to every individual to mark their territory, and they will often paint this wherever they go, making sure not to tread upon any other area with a mark that is not theirs to avoid conflict if possible, though this sadly does not keep territorial disputes from being a common practice among adults. This in turn means that these beasts are best avoided if possible if one cannot take them out quickly, as the toxic saliva can be spread quite freely and thus is a hazard to all those that are not otherwise fully protected against their toxic forms.
As far as the abilities are concerned, both of these beasts are able to make the most of their movement capabilities by getting rid of anything they might be holding, and have been known to be mischievous enough in rare cases to be able to lash out with status moves more quickly than expected, having access to Unburden as a base ability and Prankster as a hidden ability, respectively. On this note though, while Shroodle is also known to be sneaky and like to steal things from others without looking, having access to Pickpocket as a base ability as well, Grafaiai are better able to make use of their poison that leaks from their mouths as a direct weapon in battle, instead possessing Poison Touch as a base ability.
In terms of stats, in the case of Grafaiai, these creatures are not really built for serious combat in terms of taking damage and have limited stamina to them, but they can at least hit decently hard with their attacks and are quite agile, the base special attack stat being above average for a fully evolved normal-type Pokemon, and the base attack and speed stats being above average for a fully evolved poison and normal type Pokemon, so they certainly can still have their uses.
As young creatures, Shroodle are not able to defend themselves as well as their adult forms, but they can still make good use of their toxic saliva to do a number to many other young Pokemon.
These mammals are normally fairly mellow and enjoy feasting on wild berries and whatever small insects they can get a hold of, and thus tend to stay out of the way of others, only attacking aggressively if they are forced to do so. If they are put into this situation, however, they are not to be seen as mere fodder for beginning trainers, as the beasts are surprisingly agile for their size and will generally make the most use of their toxins with moves like Acid Spray from afar. Those that are older and more experienced, though, will instead make use of their Poison Fang attack to sink their large incisors into a target to inject them with their toxic saliva, which can cause smaller enemies to become immobilized from the paralytic toxins in their saliva, leaving them at the mercy of their Shroodle opponent. However, this is best done with caution, as these rodents are not able to sustain direct damage very effectively, and thus can be easy to knock out if they can be dealt with before they can get their mouths anywhere near a target. Unlike their mild-mannered pre-evolved forms, Grafaiai are nocturnal aggressors with a moody temperament and attention to detail that rivals that of similar Pokemon like Smeargle, at least as far as their penchant for painting goes. Often living solitary lives, the color of the paint-like saliva they produce changes depending on their diet, and they make use of this attribute to create different types of pigments that can then be used to make multicolored works of art that are vibrant and stand out greatly from their surroundings. And as with Shroodle, it serves as a double purpose in that they can use the saliva as both a tool for painting and a toxic weapon by spitting it on people and using it as a coating for delivering nasty attacks with their long fingers and sharp claws. Moreover, they can increase the concentration of the toxins that are in the saliva when they feel threatened, and thus can prove to be a serious menace with it in all close quarters situations. The fact that their toxins can still immobilize smaller prey makes them perfect for snatching wild bug types and making a meal out of them, but they are also now strong enough to induce the same in humans and larger Pokemon, and thus can be a terror to deal with if not wearing at least some sort of clothing for protection. Despite their nasty attributes, these beasts can still make for good teammates if cooperative work is required, as the signature doodle technique can help them copy and provide the ability of an enemy target to both themselves and a partner if fighting alongside someone, and this gives a bit of incentive to give these monsters a try, if only with protective gear at all times.
These beasts tend to be a bit too unpleasant for me to really want to be near them, even if they can be a bit amusing to observe from afar. Shroodle might be kind of cute and seemingly of little consequence, but they can deliver some really nasty bites if they have to, and thus can be a pain for novice trainers to encounter. They might appear goofy to some, but their poison fang attack, once accessible to them, can help put some serious bite into their actual attacks and powers, pun not intended. On that same note, Grafaiai are wonderful artists whose territorial marks are incredibly gorgeous and can really bring a dull environment to life. That being said, they are still highly toxic and can make good use of their saliva to infect others with a terrible poison that can immobilize them in a short amount of time. So staying far away from them is advised if you don't want to risk being engaged in them in close quarters, where they can make the most of their best offenses.
While they might initially be a bit too small for most to take notice of, the members of the Shroodle family can still be a toxic threat if they can't be avoided entirely. Their unique toxins might make them a curious sight to many, but they might be for the best with how effectively they can deliver them and make stunning artwork out of them at the same time.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you admire their work from afar and try not to get too close to it. They are territorial marks for a reason, and if you violate those spaces, you may likely be at the mercy of whatever toxic gunk these beasts can throw your way with great gusto.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.